Good evening. Thanks for joining me this Wednesday. I am Azlina Najri and these are tonight's headlines. Most state governments agree to water tariff increase. Malaysian cabin crew nabbed in Australian drug bust. And British PM faces confidence vote after Brexit humiliation. Now we begin tonight's bulletin with this story. The water tariff is expected to be increased this year, with most state governments having agreed to it. Water, Land and Natural Resources Minister Dr. Xavier Jayakumar, however, said the rate hike has yet to be finalised, as the states had different tariff rates and some had not reviewed the tariff for tens of years.
Speaking to reporters, Xavier said the government will discuss the matter with the states that have announced to not increase the water tariff. This to ensure the federal government's efforts to restructure the water supply services industry could be effectively executed, as well as to protect the consumer's interest in getting good water quality and ensuring the industry's services.
Rakyat yang akan dapat manfaat dengan air bersih untuk diminum, dan kalau semua orang nak dapat air bersih untuk minum, kita ada perbelanjaan, kita mesti ada pembayaran dan sebagainya. Kita tidak bertempuh untuk bayaran yang telah dilakukan 20 tahun sebelum ini ataupun 25 tahun sebelum ini. Nilai ringgit kita 25 tahun sebelum ini selain dari nilai ringgit sekarang.
Asked if the hike will be capped at 20% as being considered by Penang, the minister said the quantum is still being discussed with the various state governments. To date, Penang has announced a 20% hike in its water tariff, while Johor and Sabah have said no to the plan. Negeri Sembilan, Perak, Kelantan and Selangor have yet to decide on the matter.
Now, Malaysia has imposed a blanket ban on all Israelis participating in international events hosted by the country, including the World Para-Swimming Championships in July. Foreign Minister Saifuddin Abdullah said the cabinet decided last week that Israelis will not be allowed to enter the country for any event. He was speaking to reporters after receiving a memorandum handed over by Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions Malaysia, stating support for the government's action in prohibiting Israeli passport holders from entering Malaysia.
Program antarabangsa yang Malaysia telah komit untuk menjadi tuan rumah, dan dalam event tersebut ada penyertaan Israel, tak kira sukan atau acara-acara yang lain, maka kabinet memutuskan wakil daripada Israel itu tidak dibenarkan untuk masuk ke Malaysia. Ya. Jadi walaupun dah komit, tapi mereka tak dibenar. Dan yang paling dekat ialah Paralimpik.
He added the cabinet has decided that Malaysia will not host future events or programs which has representation from or participation of Israel. On Monday, the International Paralympic Committee said it was disappointed with Malaysia's decision to bar Israeli swimmers from entering the country, but hoped to find a solution to the matter. Swimmers from some 70 countries are expected to compete at the 2019 World Para-Swimming Championships in Sarawak from July 29th, which will serve as a qualifying event for the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics. Now, a Malindo Air cabin crew was among 8 people arrested in Australia on charges of trafficking more than 14 kilograms of heroin, cocaine and methamphetamine. According to Australian police, the 38-year-old airline crew member was part of a group that brought drugs from Malaysia on aircrafts for sale in Australian cities. The suspects, 4 women and 4 men aged between 26 and 55, were arrested over the past 10 days in and around Melbourne. They faced drug trafficking charges and appeared in court on Wednesday, where no pleas were recorded.
This was a complex 5-month operation targeting an alleged Vietnamese organised crime syndicate based in Melbourne. The syndicate was highly organised and had been operating in Australia for quite some years.
Police seized some 14 kilograms of drugs, including 6 kilograms of heroin, 8 kilograms of methamphetamine and 500 grams of cocaine. Australian authorities estimate that the street value of the heroin alone is worth 14.5 million Australian dollars, which is equivalent to over 42 million ringgit. Along with a significant quantity of cash, a Porsche Macan SUV and a Mini Cooper car were also seized. Meanwhile, Malindo Air in a statement said the airline is ready to cooperate with all the relevant authorities in Australia or in Malaysia. It added that the said cabin crew has been suspended with immediate effect pending termination. The man who was shot dead in a hostage incident in Sabah last Sunday is believed to be an illegal immigrant. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun said, however, the police were unable to verify the identity of the man because no one had come forward with any information. During a press conference, he also said that an investigation is still underway to determine the man's motive.
Tapi kita pun tak dapat identiti sebenar sebab tak ada orang yang come forward to give the actual identity of the suspect lah yang terlibat dalam kes pencorekan di Tuaran itu. Jadi kita sedang mewawarkan agar family members ke ataupun mana-mana pihak yang mengenali yang ditembak itu untuk come forward lah untuk kita kena pasti latar belakang dia, identiti dia dan sebagainya.
Last Sunday, police shot the man dead after he held a 2-year-old girl hostage at knife point at the Telipok rear apartments in Kota Kinabalu and threatened to throw her down from a kitchen window. The girl was saved unharmed. Baling Member of Parliament Datuk Sri Abdul Aziz Abdul Rahim claimed trial at the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today to 12 charges of corruption and money laundering involving government projects worth 144.5 million ringgit. The 55-year-old UMNO Supreme Council member made the plea after the charges were read out before Judge Azura Alwi. The court set March 27th for mention. Datuk Sri Abdul Aziz, who is also former Tabung Haji chairman, was slapped with 3 charges of receiving bribes worth 5.2 million ringgit and 9 charges of money laundering amounting to 139.3 million ringgit. He was accused of receiving the inducement from Menuju Asas Senior Berhad Director Muhammad Rizwan Mohanan Abdullah for the company to obtain some 197.8 million ringgit worth of government projects through negotiation and limited tender since December 2010. As for the money laundering charges, he was alleged to have received proceeds through unlawful activities totaling 139.3 million ringgit from several companies between March 2010 and August 2018. The charges were filed under Section 4, Subsection 1B of the Anti-Money Laundering and Anti-Terrorism Financing Act. Meanwhile, the MP's brother, Dato' Abdul Latif Abdul Rahim, pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of abetting the former in committing the alleged offences. Both charges were made under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Act. The duo face an imprisonment for up to 20 years and a fine of not less than 5 times the sum or value of the gratification or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher if found guilty. The court fixed 800,000 and 500,000 ringgit bails in one surety against Datuk Sri Abdul Aziz and his brother, respectively. In the meantime, the Kuala Lumpur High Court today set aside a decision by a sessions court to allow Tan Sri Musa Aman access to his passport to seek medical treatment in Singapore and the United Kingdom. This follows Justice Muhammad Zaini Mazlan's call to allow the prosecution's review application against the lower court's decision, thus barring the former Sabah Chief Minister from leaving the country. The judge said Tan Sri Musa's right to treatment abroad became restricted when he became an accused unless he could prove that the treatment could only be available overseas. However, he said there was no suggestion by the accused that he could only be treated in Singapore and the United Kingdom. Yesterday, Deputy Public Prosecutor Datuk Salim Shoaib, during submissions, said the former Sabah Chief Minister could seek treatment in the country. He also said that it was not reasonable for the Sessions Court to release Tan Sri Musa's passport based on medical reasons. This is in accordance with Section 323, subsection 1 of the Criminal Procedure Code, as the case involves public interest. The Sessions Court on January 7th allowed Tan Sri Musa's application for his passport to be temporarily returned to him, as he needed it to travel to London and Singapore for medical checkups. On November 5th last year, Tan Sri Musa claimed trial to 35 counts of graft, amounting to some 243 million ringgit, relating to timber concessions in Sabah. The offences were allegedly committed between December 2004 and November 2008. Over in Terengganu, a final-year medical student of a public university in Kuala Terengganu pleaded not guilty in the State Sharia High Court to a charge of pimping. 29-year-old Muhammad Luqman Zulkifli was charged with committing the offence at a hotel between August 27th and 28th last year. He was charged under Section 28 of the Sharia Criminal Offences Terengganu Enactment, where he faces a fine of up to 5,000 ringgit or imprisonment for up to 3 years or whipping of not more than 6 strokes if found guilty. Judge Kamaru Azmi Ismail set bail at 3,000 ringgit in one surety and fixed February 24th for trial. Now moving on to the Cameron Highlands by-election, Defence Minister Mohamed Sabu has dismissed an allegation that he used an armed forces helicopter to campaign during the poll. The Amanah President today told former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak to check his facts first before making such an allegation. According to the minister, popularly known as Mat Sabu, the photograph of him standing in front of a helicopter was taken during his official visit to Slim Camp in Cameron Highlands on January 9th, 3 days before nomination for the parliamentary by-election. He also stressed that the people he met at Slim Camp were not Cameron Highlands voters, but those from Sungai Petani Kedah, and that he had driven his own car to the constituency on nomination day last Saturday. He was commenting on the posting on Datuk Sri Najib's Facebook account over the photograph that went viral, linking Mat Sabu to the use of the Armed Forces helicopter to campaign in the by-election. Now, the MACC has recorded the statements of 7 individuals in connection with the alleged distribution of cash handouts to volunteers for the Cameron Highlands by-election. They include a woman whose photographs went viral on social media recently, in which she was seen wearing a Pakatan Harapan t-shirt and giving out money. Perak MACC Director Datuk Zainul Darus said the questioning took place at the Graft Busters Operation Room in Cameron Highlands following an investigation carried out on Sunday.
Mengesahkan memang kita ada terima aduan dan siasatan kita laksanakan seperti biasa, dan saya mohon supaya tidak wujud spekulasi lah berkaitan hal ini, di mana kita tak pasti lagi sama ada wujud kesalahan di bawah akta kesalahan pilihan raya 1954 pindaan 2012 ataupun akta Suruhanjaya Pencegahan Rasuah 2009 ya. Jadi serahkan kepada pihak kita untuk menjalankan siasatan dengan sebaik mungkin.
In response to the viral photos, PH leaders, including the coalition's candidate for Cameron Highlands, M. Manogaran, said campaign volunteers were being reimbursed for their petrol expenses. They contended that the act did not violate election laws. The graft buster has since received 5 complaints from the public and political parties regarding the issue. Thanks for staying with us now. The body of a man was found washed up on a rock at a beach near a Hindu temple in Padang Kota Lama, Penang earlier today. Police have identified the victim as 33-year-old S. Ananda Kumar from Bukit Mertajam. Timur Laut Police Chief ACP Cik Zaimani Cik Awang said the victim was found fully clothed by passers-by. A preliminary investigation showed that there were no injuries or wounds found on the victim's body. His body was brought to the Penang hospital for post-mortem, and the case has been classified as sudden death. Now, political appointments for the posts of chairman or board of directors of government-linked companies, GLCs, should be considered for individuals with merit. The merit should be based on skills and qualifications, which would then contribute towards the development and betterment of the company. Centre for Governance, Integrity and Anti-Corruption GIACC Director General Tan Sri Abu Qasim Muhammad said this is because there are politicians with the required set of skills. He, however, added that priority would be given to the professional group.
Maka pelantikan itu boleh dibuat kerana profesionalismenya, kerana kepakarannya ataupun qualification yang mereka ada. Dalam konteks itu kita berpegang bahawa dibenarkan, tetapi bukan kerana dianya ahli politik, tetapi kerana kepakaran yang ada. Saya telah pun meminta jabatan-jabatan kerajaan untuk mengemukakan semua pelantikan-pelantikan politik yang dibuat dan dihantar ke pusat saya untuk membuat semakan.
The Finance Ministry has also led discussions and presented clear guidelines on the appointments of individuals as board members or chairpersons of GLCs. Now updated as of 7 p.m, here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today.